Hello, guys. So I'm just gonna be letting people in for a moment here. Hopefully you guys can hear me good and you can see me. I'm gonna open up the chat, so if anyone needs to say anything, you can feel free to type in there, or if you wanna unmute, you can do that as well. I'm just gonna give it a few minutes. This is our first workshop together, so I'm sure a lot of people maybe haven't used Zoom before or they're new to this, so I'll give everyone a couple minutes to log in. Hey, Kaylee. My name's Kara, by the way. My little business here is called Coastal Design Workshops. I've been doing virtual workshops for, I guess, over a year now. So I used to be in person, and I would do residential events. And ever since COVID started, it's kind of just everything's been virtual. But it's been a really great way to connect with people far away. Exhibit A, you guys in Hawaii, which is so cool. I'm all the way over here in Florida, so it's actually dark out right now. It's usually beautiful and sunny here. But I've actually never been to Hawaii, so I'm excited to be chatting with you guys tonight. So I see a few more people joining in, so I'll just give everyone a chance to get their computers working. I know technology can be a little tricky. So hopefully for those that are here, you all have your kits. And again, I'm gonna keep the chat open. If you ever have any questions or need me to slow down or repeat something, just shout out to me and I'll help you get through everything. All right. And I do record these workshops. I don't know if I said that already, so it seems like a lot of people either might be late or maybe can't make it tonight. So I do record the workshop. So if you ever want to come back and watch it over again, maybe do this project again on your own time, I can always send it to your property manager and she can send that over to you. All right. So let's just go over, while we're waiting a little bit, we'll go over what's in the kit. So everyone should have got a little tub like this. This is a half-gallon tub. There are two little baggies in there. One with this indigo powder. And be careful, don't open that up yet because it will make a mess. And this is soda ash. This is what activates the powder and will help that indigo dye really soak into your fabric. We have cotton cloths. So they're actually flour sack towels, they call them. So indigo dye will absorb into any kind of natural fabric. So if you have any like white t-shirts or socks or whatever you want to dye laying around after this, once you make this vat, it'll be good for up to 10 days. So you can go ahead and repeat the project with whatever stuff you want to do. I have like hundreds of indigo dyed stuff because I basically don't have white clothing anymore because everything that's white I dyed. Oh, and here's one of the finished products. Super cute. I use some as dish towels in my kitchen or just hand towels to have laying around. So this is actually the pattern we're going to be doing too. There's a ton of different patterns you can do with indigo dyeing. They're called bonding techniques. Fortunately, we only have enough stuff for one of the bonding techniques today. So we're going to be using these rubber bands, and that's how we're going to secure the bond. Sorry, I'll turn my phone off so it's not making noise. Okay, so we have that. You guys should have gloves. I have these designer plastic gloves for you. You have 5 rubber bands, and you should have a popsicle stick. And what else? Oh, a table liner. Hopefully everybody got one of these, just a plastic liner, just to keep your workspace safe. So if you can tell, I'm set up in my kitchen just because I'm right by my sink. So hopefully you're by a sink. Oh, let me just let some people in here. Okay. Hello, Teresa. Teresa just joined. Okay. So hopefully you're by a sink. If you're not, you definitely need to be by a source of running water for this. So either run over to one now, or you can always just save this video and do it again later when you do have access to water. You do want to grab some paper towels just in case, because messes happen and that's okay. And also a pair of scissors if you have them nearby, or something to just cut the rubber bands off. Okay, what else will you need? I think that's it. So if everybody's ready, we can go ahead and get started. So lay out your table liner if you haven't already. And our first step is we're going to be filling up this tub to about here with warm water. So you want to leave, about 2 inches, just so when you dunk this towel in later, the whole thing doesn't overflow and make a mess. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. So not hot water, just like lukewarm water. Again, if anyone has any questions, just type in the chat and I'll get right back to you. Okay. All right, so there's my vat. You guys can see what I'm doing. Use my messy kitchen. All right, so our first step is we're gonna put our gloves on first, because we don't want to get this indigo dye on our hands. These fancy gloves. Hands got a little wet, so they're a little hard to put on. Okay. All right, our first step is we're going to empty this bag of indigo powder. So the blue powder, we're going to empty that into our vat right here. Might be a little tricky to get that bag open with these gloves on. Okay, there we go. So just go ahead and dump that whole thing in. It's gonna have a little bit of a greenish color to it when you put it in there. And it does have a little bit of a smell. Oop. About that. Okay, so we're gonna take our mixing stick that I gave you. We're gonna give it a nice, good stir around. So we're gonna do 30 seconds in one direction, and then we're gonna do 30 seconds in the other direction. Okay. 30 seconds. I wasn't exactly counting, but I'm gonna switch directions now, go back the other way. Just really getting it dissolved in there, making sure Get it out of the cracks in the bottoms. Again, this stuff is very, I don't know what the word would be, but it will stain. If it does get on your skin, it will wash out eventually. It may take a day. But you guys are crafty. I'm sure you don't mind. But we're gonna do our best to not make a mess. So nice and gently stirring around. Okay, so wipe off your stick, and now we're gonna be mixing in the soda ash, which is the activator, which is that white powder in the other bag. So I'm just gonna put this stick down to the side so I don't make a mess. And then I'm going to open up this bag. So all that white soda ash is going into the vat. Okay, and again, we're just gonna mix this for 30 seconds now. Don't have to switch it up like last time, just 30 seconds, just to make sure it's all activating. Okay, so wipe that off. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna put the lid back onto this vat right here, and we're just gonna set it aside while we do our next step. So lid is on. And my next step, if you guys are all ready, the next step is we're gonna be soaking our white towel that I gave you. We're gonna get it completely soaked with water, and then we're gonna wring it out. Okay. So if you want, you can take your gloves off for this step, but I just figured I'll just keep them on for the whole thing. So again, we're just soaking this completely, and then we're gonna wring it out, and then we're gonna lay it flat on our workspace. Okay, my towel is soaked, and now I'm just gonna wring it out. Just so it's damp. Okay. I'm gonna just move my computer back so you guys can see what I'm doing. Hopefully it doesn't fall. Okay. So I got my nice clear workspace here. I actually dripped a little bit of dye on it. It doesn't really matter. It's gonna get dye on the towel anyway, but I'm gonna wipe it away just so I don't make a bigger mess than I need to. All right, hopefully you guys are with me. So now we're gonna lay this whole damp towel flat. It's a pretty big towel. Okay. And flat. There it is. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna be using the rubber bands I gave you, and we're gonna be binding them on this cloth in like a snake motion. So we're gonna pinch it directly from the center. So you have it laid out like a square right here. I want you to pinch it directly from the center and just lift it up. So you're just gonna have a nice long towel right in the middle. And what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna just be placing rubber bands about a few inches apart down the whole length of this towel. So again, I just pinched it from the center and I lifted it up. And now I'm going to take one of my rubber bands and place the first bind right here, just like that. So I have 4 more rubber bands, so I'm going to be placing another one about here. Getting a few good wraps on it just so it's nice and tight. You don't have to do it so tight that the rubber band's about to break, but tight enough that it'll secure that fabric. And I'm going to do another one. You can actually space these differently. If you want the rings and the pattern to be, closer and then bigger, you can space them however you want. This is just for a more even design. But that's what's so good about having this vat. It's good for 10 days. So if you want to do another fabric design later, you could totally try again with something else. Okay, I have one more to go. I'm gonna do it right at the end here, nice little ponytail. And there it is. So our vat should almost be ready. I want you to have your paper towels nearby because this is where it could get messy. This is just gonna go to the side and I'm gonna take my lid off of the vat and I'm gonna bring it back to the center so you guys can see what I'm doing. Okay. All right. So now for the fun part. Towel's ready to go and we're gonna dip it in there. So you wanna make sure that it's completely submerged under the dye for about 10 to 20 seconds. The longer you hold it in there, the darker the color is gonna be. So this color was about 10 seconds, I would say. So if you want it a little darker, I would hold it under longer. So here we go. I'm just gonna wrap mine up into a little circle like this, just so it fits in there better. And I am dunking. And I'm making a mess already. So while it's under there, just kind of massage it, squeeze it around so that dye absorbs into the fabric. Okay, and I'm gonna take it out. And you'll notice when you take it out that it's kind of a green color. You wanna make sure you squeeze it out over the vat too, because it would just be a total mess if we brought it out super soggy like this. So squeeze all that excess out as best you can. You can see my dye is getting all over my tablecloth, so that is why I give those out with this workshop. Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and rinse this in the sink with cold water. So make sure it's cold water because the hot water would kind of make the dye run a little bit, kind of rinse it out. We don't want that to happen. So cold water in the sink, make sure that water stays running and try to keep it as clean as you can. I don't want you guys to get any indigo dye in anything. So right over to the sink. cold water. We're gonna rinse it out with the rubber bands still on right now. Just kind of squeezing it to get that dye out. Okay, and I'm just wringing it out so that when I bring it back over to the table, it doesn't make a mess everywhere. I'm gonna move this back to the side. Clean up this mess I have here. Bringing out the water and the dye from the fabric. Now I'm going to bring it back to my workspace. And now this is where you're going to use your scissors. If you want, or you can, if you don't have scissors, you can always just peel them off. I just find it a little hard to really get them out of there. So I'm going to use my scissors and I'm going to cut off all of these rubber bands. And you can see where those rubber bands were. Your design is white. So just wait until you open it up and you see how beautiful this design is. And just doing your best to not cut the towel itself, which I seem to have done a little bit. That's okay. All right, got all mine off. And now you can open it up and just get a little peek at what you've made. It is still soaking wet, so be careful not to touch this on anything important. There it is. I love it. It's so cool. I'm obsessed with these and they're so cute. And I'm sure you guys will find many uses for them. So again, you can rinse it out again with some cold water. Some people I know have put them in the wash by themselves, like on a cold cycle. But usually when I'm just getting them ready for use, I'll just do a little laundry detergent in the sink and just kind of wash it really good to get all that extra dye out. And then I'll let it air dry. And then eventually you can throw it in with regular stuff in the wash. And it will be good to go. So I'm loving how this came out. I hope you guys are too. Super cool. I'm gonna keep my gloves on while I clean up. If you guys have any questions or you want me to go over some steps, or you just wanna ask me some more questions, just let me know. Got an itch on my nose. All right, thank you guys for coming. Again, this was recorded, so if you have any friends that signed up and didn't make it, you can either tell them to shoot me an email. I believe I put my business cards in the kits, so if you do have any questions, just reach out. Yeah, thank you guys for coming.
Can you use this dye again?
Yes, so the vat, it's good for around 10 days. So just make sure you keep a lid on it so it doesn't oxidize. But yeah, you can use it for basically anything that has a natural fabric. So anything that's like cotton or something like that.
Awesome, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you.
Hope you enjoy the beautiful weather down there in Hawaii. Starting to cool down over here. So hope I can come visit you all one day. All right, bye guys.
Bye.
Bye, thank you.
Bye.